All right, so you're interested in Home Depot stock?
Excellent choice.
We've got this Motley Fool article from just yesterday, November 7, 2024. And let me tell you, it's making some pretty bold claims.
Interesting.
Is it giving us a big flash and buy signal?
Let's find out.
Yeah, let's find out. So first, a little background on the Motley Fool.
Yeah.
They've been around since '93.
A long time.
I know, it's crazy, right?
Yeah.
So they've definitely seen their fair share of market ups and downs. So maybe they know a thing or two.
Yeah.
So the article gives us 3 reasons why now might be the perfect time to buy Home Depot stock.
Okay.
Even though it's been struggling a bit lately.
Interesting.
And their first reason is all about a rebound in, you guessed it,
let me guess.
the housing market.
The housing market. Okay.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
So what makes this really interesting is the article doesn't just say, oh, the market's going to bounce back.
Right.
It gets into the why. And a big part of that is the Fed lowering interest rates.
Right, because lower interest rates should lead to lower mortgage rates.
Exactly.
Which means more people can afford to buy houses.
Right. It's classic supply and demand.
Supply and demand, yeah.
But there's this other factor at play, too, that's really fascinating.
Okay.
It's called the lock-in effect.
The lock-in effect.
So a lot of people who bought homes in the past few years, they got these crazy low mortgage rates.
Oh, yeah. I've heard of this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're holding on tight to those deals.
They don't want to sell and lose that low rate?
No, they don't.
Makes sense.
So, but what happens if rates drop even lower?
Ooh, that's a good point.
Right.
Yeah.
These people who are locked in, they might jump back into the market looking for an even better deal.
A bigger house or something?
Right. Like a bigger house, more expensive property.
Exactly.
Suddenly you've got even more demand for everything Home Depot sells.
Right.
Appliances, fancy bathroom fixtures, landscaping materials, you name it.
Yeah, all that stuff.
And remember, existing home sales are down 40% from before the pandemic.
Wow.
So if things even start to normalize, that's a huge potential upswing.
Huge potential.
Okay, so I'm starting to see why the Motley Fool is excited about Home Depot.
Yeah, me too.
But their second reason is a little bit of a curveball.
Okay.
It's all about Home Depot buying this building materials distributor called SRS Distribution.
SRS Distribution.
Earlier this year.
Interesting.
I'll be honest, that one kind of flew under my radar.
Well, you know, building materials distribution is booming right now.
Oh, really?
Which makes sense with all the construction going on.
Oh, yeah, of course.
And by snagging SRS, Home Depot's putting themselves right in the middle of that boom.
So they're basically betting on the future of construction.
Exactly. And it's a smart move for another reason, too.
Okay.
It gives them a bigger piece of the pro market.
The pro market?
Meaning contractors and other professionals.
Ah.
They already have an edge over Lowe's with those folks.
I see.
And now they're doubling down.
Interesting. So they're going after both the DIYers and the pros.
The pros.
That's a smart strategy.
It is. And here's where it gets really interesting.
Okay.
Think about the political scene right now.
Okay.
Both presidential candidates are talking about the need for more new homes to fix the housing shortage.
That's true. Yeah.
If either of them gets their way, that's good news for SRS Distribution.
Right.
And good news for Home Depot.
Wow. So Home Depot's kind of got a double whammy going on there.
Yeah.
The potential for a housing market boom and a construction boom.
It's looking good.
All right. Tell me more about this SRS deal.
Yeah.
What kind of impact are we talking about here?
Well, get this.
Okay.
This acquisition adds about $50 billion to Home Depot's addressable market.
$50 billion with a B.
Billion with a B. That brings their total potential market, to wait for it,
I'm waiting.
$1 trillion.
$1 trillion. Hold on.
Huge.
That's bigger than the entire GDP of most countries.
I know.
That's insane.
Yeah, it's a massive market.
It really shows you the scale of what Home Depot's going after.
It does.
Okay, on to reason number 3.
All right.
Home Depot's competitive advantages.
Okay.
Even with the stock taking a hit lately, the article argues that their position is still rock solid.
Yeah, they've got a pretty good moat.
Why is that?
Well, think about it. Home Depot and Lowe's basically have the home improvement market cornered.
Okay.
It's almost impossible for a new competitor to muscle in on that action.
So they're like the Coke and Pepsi of home improvement.
Exactly.
No matter what, someone's going to be buying from one of them.
Pretty much.
And on top of that, Home Depot hasn't been ignoring the online world either.
Right.
They've been investing heavily in e-commerce and making sure their technology is top-notch.
Smart move.
Yeah. Even though they're this brick-and-mortar giant, they're not getting left behind in the digital age.
Right.
Smart move.
Yeah.
So they're strong online and in their stores.
Yep.
But what about their financials? Are they actually making money?
Oh, absolutely. Their operating margin, that's the profit they make on each dollar of sales, is a healthy 15%.
15%?
15%.
That's impressive.
It's really good.
But wait a minute, what about Amazon? I thought they were supposed to be disrupting
everything.
Well, yeah, basically everything.
Right.
Haven't they tried to break into home improvement?
They have, but they haven't really made a dent in Home Depot's market share.
Interesting.
Here's the thing.
Okay.
A lot of home improvement stuff is just bulky and hard to ship.
Yeah, that's true.
Lumber, appliances, bags of concrete.
Yeah.
People still need to go to physical stores to see that stuff.
Right. You can't really buy lumber online.
Yeah, it's just not practical.
And I can't imagine trying to get a refrigerator delivered from Amazon.
No way.
But Home Depot's got that brick and mortar advantage working in their favor.
They do, and plus they offer services like installation and tool rental.
Oh.
Things that Amazon just can't match.
Okay, so we've got a potential housing market boom,
Yeah.
potential construction boom,
Right.
a company making smart acquisitions,
Yeah.
and a business model that's tough to beat.
That's a lot of positive.
It's starting to sound like the Motley Fool might be onto something here.
They might be.
It does seem like they've got a strong case.
They do.
But remember, this is just one perspective. We'll have to dig a little deeper and see if this buy signal holds up.
Yeah, good idea.
All right, so we've got a mystery on our hands.
We do?
Is Home Depot a hidden gem ready to explode in value?
Maybe.
We've got 2 more parts to this deep dive, and
Can't wait.
I'm ready to get to the bottom of it.
Let's do it.
Let's keep exploring.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we're back for part 2 of our Home Depot deep dive.
All right, round 2.
And things are getting interesting.
Yeah, we've seen some reasons to be optimistic
Yeah.
about Home Depot's future.
But now I kind of want to get into the nitty-gritty.
Okay.
What could go wrong?
Yeah.
What are the potential risks here that could derail this whole Home Depot is a buy story?
Well, you're thinking like a true investor.
Gotta be prepared.
Always got to look at both sides.
Both sides.
And honestly, one of the biggest risks for Home Depot is something completely outside of their control.
Oh, boy.
The economy.
The economy. Okay, yeah.
The overall economy.
Because if the economy tanks and we head into a recession,
Right.
people are going to slam the brakes on spending.
Exactly.
And home improvement projects.
Yeah.
Those are usually the first to go.
First things to get cut.
Yeah, imagine a scenario where consumer confidence just plummets.
Right.
Suddenly that kitchen remodel or that bathroom upgrade gets put on hold indefinitely.
People are more worried about keeping their jobs than they are about granite countertops. You know,
Yeah.
It's tough.
So economic downturn, that's
a big one.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Yeah.
What else should we be worried about?
Well, remember how we talked about the Fed lowering interest rates?
Yeah.
That's great for stimulating the housing market in theory. But what if inflation starts to spiral out of control?
Oh, no.
The Fed might be forced to raise rates again. And that would basically slam the brakes on that whole housing recovery.
So it's like they're walking a tightrope.
They are.
They need to lower rates enough to get things moving.
Yeah.
But not so much that inflation goes crazy.
It's a delicate balance.
Delicate balance.
And it's not just about the U.S. economy either.
Oh, right.
We live in a globally interconnected world.
We do.
And any number of geopolitical events could throw a wrench into the works.
Like what?
Wars, trade disputes, natural disasters.
Yeah.
These things can all have ripple effects that impact the global economy.
Yeah.
And that includes Home Depot.
Okay, so there's a lot of uncertainty out there.
There is.
But I guess that's just the nature of investing, right?
Yeah.
You can't predict the future.
Yep.
You can only try to anticipate different scenarios and manage your risk accordingly.
Exactly.
Okay, well, let's not get too doom and gloom here.
Yeah.
You know, remember that impressive 15% operating margin we talked about?
Oh, yeah.
That's a testament to Home Depot's efficiency.
Right.
And their ability to make money even in challenging environments.
For sure. And I think their massive supply chain plays a big role in that.
Supply chain, yeah.
I mean, you see those orange trucks everywhere.
They're everywhere.
It's a sign that they've got logistics down to a science.
It's like a well-oiled machine.
It is.
They're able to get products to their stores quickly and efficiently.
Yep.
Keeps costs down. Keeps customers happy.
Exactly.
And on top of that, they've been investing heavily in logistics technology.
Oh, wow.
To optimize their operations even further.
So they're constantly trying to improve.
Yeah, they're not resting on their laurels.
Good for them.
So, but let's not forget about those pro customers we talked about.
Oh, yeah, the pros.
Contractors, professional builders.
Those are some of their most loyal customers.
And they spend a lot of money.
They do.
You're right. Those pro customers are crucial for Home Depot.
Absolutely.
They need a reliable supplier with high-quality products.
Competitive prices.
Competitive prices and expert advice.
You got it.
And Home Depot has spent years building those relationships. They offer special services for pros.
Like what?
Like bulk discounts and dedicated account managers to make sure that they keep coming back.
Smart move.
It's a smart strategy. Time is money for those folks.
It is.
So they need a supplier they can count on.
Absolutely.
And with the SRS Distribution acquisition,
yeah,
Home Depot is doubling down on that pro market.
It's like they're saying, hey, we got everything you need. Whether you're a weekend warrior tackling a small project or a professional builder working on a massive development.
They've positioned themselves as a one-stop shop.
One-stop shop.
For the entire spectrum of home improvement needs.
Makes sense.
Okay, so we've talked about the economic risks.
Yeah.
We've talked about the competitive landscape. And Home Depot's focus on both DIRs and professionals.
Right.
But there's one more big elephant in the room that we need to address.
Oh boy, what's that?
The future of retail itself.
Ooh.
E-commerce is changing the game for just about every industry.
It is.
So can a brick-and-mortar giant like Home Depot really thrive in this increasingly digital world?
That's the million-dollar question.
It is.
And honestly, it's a question that's keeping a lot of traditional retailers up at night.
I bet.
But I actually think Home Depot has a few key advantages that could help them not just survive, but thrive in this new era of retail.
Okay. I'm intrigued.
Oh.
What are those advantages?
Well, first of all, they haven't been ignoring the rise of e-commerce.
Okay.
They've been investing heavily in their online presence.
Oh, okay.
Making sure their website is easy to use, their mobile app is top-notch.
Yeah.
They're making it super convenient for customers to shop online and have those purchases delivered to their homes or picked up at a nearby store.
So they're embracing that omni-channel approach.
Omni-channel.
Exactly.
That everyone's talking about.
Yep. Meet the customer wherever they are.
Wherever they are.
Online, in-store, a combination of both.
Exactly. And here's where it gets really interesting.
Okay.
That massive network of physical stores we talked about.
Those orange boxes everywhere.
In the age of e-commerce, those stores actually become a huge asset.
Oh.
Rather than a liability.
Interesting.
I know, right?
Yeah.
So think of it this way. Those stores can act as mini fulfillment centers for online orders.
Okay.
So customers can buy something online and then swing by their local Home Depot, pick it up.
Yep.
Often within just a couple of hours.
Wow, that's convenient.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a lot faster and more convenient than waiting for a package to be shipped from a giant warehouse across the country.
It is, and it saves Home Depot money on shipping costs.
Oh, yeah.
Which is a big deal in the world of e-commerce.
Makes sense.
And plus, those physical stores
allow Home Depot to offer services that are really hard to replicate online.
Like
in-person expert advice.
Okay.
Hands-on workshops.
Yeah.
Tool rentals.
Makes sense.
Things like that.
So they're not just selling products, they're creating a whole experience around home improvement.
They are, exactly. It's about building relationships and becoming a trusted partner for their customers.
Right.
They're positioning themselves as the ultimate resource for everything related to home improvement.
I love that.
From getting inspiration for a project to finding the right tools and materials to getting expert advice along the way.
They're like a home improvement consultant.
Exactly.
But okay, what about the 800-pound gorilla in the e-commerce room?
Oh, who's that?
Amazon.
Amazon, of course.
What's stopping them from just muscling into the home improvement market?
Yeah.
And dominating it the way they've done with so many other industries?
That's a great question.
It is.
And it's one that a lot of people have been asking for years.
I bet.
Amazon definitely has the scale, the resources, the technology to be a major player in home improvement.
They do.
But they face a few challenges that Home Depot doesn't.
Okay, lay it on me.
All right, so first of all,
okay,
think back to all that bulky stuff we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
Lumber appliances, bags of concrete.
Like the heavy stuff.
That stuff is heavy, it's awkward.
It is.
And it's expensive to ship.
Yeah.
It's not like sending a book or a pair of shoes through the mail.
No, it's not.
And when you're in the middle of a project, you often need those things right away.
You do.
You can't afford to wait days or weeks for delivery.
Absolutely not.
So that's where Home Depot's network of physical stores gives them a huge advantage. You can just hop in your car, drive to your local Home Depot, and get what you need in minutes.
Exactly.
Plus, you can talk to an actual human being and get expert advice while you're there.
It's true. You can't really do that on Amazon.
Not really.
And that's something I really value, especially when I'm tackling a project I've never done before.
It's so helpful.
And that kind of personalized service is something that Amazon, with its reliance on algorithms and online chatbots, really struggles to replicate.
It does.
So it sounds like Home Depot is well positioned to hold their own against the Amazon threat.
I think so.
But wait a minute.
Okay.
What about Lowe's?
Oh, yeah. Lowe's.
They're Home Depot's biggest rival.
They are.
How do they stack up in all of this?
That's a great question.
It is.
And honestly, Lowe's is a worthy competitor.
Okay.
They have many of the same strengths as Home Depot.
Okay.
Including a massive network of stores, a strong brand, and a focus on the pro market.
But Home Depot has consistently outperformed Lowe's in recent years.
That's true.
So what's Home Depot's secret sauce?
Yeah, why are they winning?
Why are they winning?
Well, there are a few key reasons.
Okay.
First of all, they have a slightly larger market share. They've got more stores, and they generate more revenue, which gives them some advantages in terms of economies of scale.
So they can negotiate better deals with suppliers.
Exactly.
Keep their prices lower.
And they've also been more aggressive than Lowe's in embracing e-commerce and investing in technology.
Makes sense.
They were quicker to adopt that omni-channel approach we talked about earlier.
Right.
And they've done a better job of creating a seamless experience for customers who shop both online and in their stores.
So they're a step ahead in the digital game.
I'd say so.
And they've also been more laser-focused on that lucrative pro market.
They've developed specialized services and programs that are tailored to the needs of contractors, builders, and other professionals.
It's like they're speaking directly to those customers, saying, hey, we understand your business.
They do.
And we've got everything you need to succeed.
You got it.
And that targeted approach seems to be paying off.
It is.
They've been steadily gaining market share from Lowe's in the pro market over the past few years.
That's right.
So it really does sound like Home Depot is the king of the hill.
They're at the top.
And it comes to home improvement.
They got a winning formula.
They do strong brand.
Efficient supply chain.
Efficient supply chain. A network of stores that's becoming even more valuable in the digital age.
It is.
And a commitment to serving both DIYers and professionals.
That's right.
It's a tough combination to beat.
It is.
But it's important to remember.
What's that?
That no company is immune to challenges.
True.
And disruptions. The retail landscape is constantly evolving.
Always changing.
And new threats could emerge at any time.
Yeah, you always got to be on your toes.
So what are some of the potential storm clouds on the horizon that Home Depot needs to keep an eye on?
You're right. No company can afford to get complacent.
No.
Especially in today's fast-paced business environment.
Fast-paced world.
And there are definitely some potential threats out there that could disrupt Home Depot's business.
All right, let's get back to the doom and gloom.
Back to the doom and gloom.
Hit me with those potential threats.
Okay, so number one.
Number one.
We can't ignore the risk of a prolonged economic downturn.
Right.
If the economy takes a serious hit and we flip into a recession, people are going to cut back on spending.
Yeah.
And those discretionary home improvement projects are likely to be the first things to go.
Makes sense. Those are big ticket purchases.
They are.
And when money gets tight, people are more likely to postpone them.
Exactly.
And that could put a real damper on Home Depot's growth plans.
It could.
And then there's the whole issue of rise in interest rates.
Oh, yeah.
Remember, lower interest rates are good for the housing market.
Right.
Which is good for Home Depot.
Good for everybody.
But if inflation starts to spiral out of control, the Fed might be forced to raise rates to cool things down.
Yeah.
And that could put a chill on the housing market.
Not good.
So Home Depot's success is somewhat tied to the whims of the Federal Reserve.
It is.
And the overall health of the economy.
Yeah, to some extent. And then, of course, there's always the threat of increased competition.
Oh, right.
Right now, Home Depot and Lowe's are the dominant players.
Yeah.
But what if a new competitor comes along and shakes things up?
Like, who could possibly challenge those behemoths?
Well, it's possible that a giant like Amazon or Walmart could decide to get more serious about home improvement.
I could see that.
They've got the resources, the technology, the logistics expertise to be major players.
They do.
And they could potentially undercut Home Depot on price.
That would be a game changer.
It would.
Yeah.
And then there's the possibility of a niche player emerging.
Okay.
Maybe a company that focuses specifically on sustainable building materials or smart home technology.
Oh, interesting.
They could carve out a profitable segment of the market by catering to specific customer needs and values.
So specialization could be a path to success.
You could.
In the home improvement world?
Yeah, find a niche.
Find a niche.
And really dominate it.
Dominate it. Okay.
And we also have to consider the change in demographics.
Yeah.
And preferences of consumers.
Yeah.
Millennials and Gen Z, for example.
Yeah.
They tend to be more interested in experiences than material possessions.
Interesting.
They might be less likely to buy homes and invest in home improvement projects than previous generations.
That's a really good point.
So Home Depot needs to figure out how to connect with those younger generations and appeal to their values and lifestyles.
That's a whole new ballgame.
It is. And then there's the rise of the sharing economy.
Okay.
Think about services like TaskRabbit and Angie's List.
Yeah.
They make it easier than ever to hire someone to handle those home improvement projects.
Right.
If that trend continues to grow, it could potentially reduce demand for DIY products and services.
So Home Depot needs to think about how to adapt to that shift.
Adapt or die, right?
Yeah. Maybe they could partner with those services.
Ooh, that's a good idea.
Or even create their own platform for connecting homeowners with qualified professionals.
Turn a potential threat into an opportunity.
Love it.
And speaking of threats.
Oh, no.
Let's not forget about the rise in cost of labor.
Oh, right. Yeah.
As the economy continues to grow, it's going to get harder and more expensive to find qualified workers.
That's true.
And that could put pressure on Home Depot's profit margins.
So they need to find a balance between keeping costs under control and providing excellent service to their customers.
It's a tough tightrope to walk.
It is. And then there's the whole issue of supply chain disruptions.
Oh, yeah.
The global pandemic showed us just how vulnerable those complex global supply chains can be.
It did remember the great toilet paper shortage of 2020.
Oh, how could I forget?
It felt like the end of the world.
It did.
Well, Home Depot relies on a complex global network of suppliers to stock their shelves.
Right.
Any disruption to that network, whether it's a pandemic, a natural disaster, a trade war, or something else entirely, could lead to product shortages, delays, increased costs.
So they need to build resilience into their supply chain.
They do.
And have backup plans in place for when things go wrong.
Absolutely. Plan for the unexpected.
The unexpected.
And we also have to consider the fact that home improvement projects themselves are becoming more complex.
More complex in what way?
As homes become more technologically advanced.
Oh, right.
It takes more specialized knowledge and skills.
Makes sense.
To handle even basic repairs and renovations.
So maybe Home Depot needs to step up their game in terms of providing education and support to their DIY customers.
I think so.
Yeah.
Maybe they could offer more workshops, classes, online tutorials, or even personalized consultations.
Yeah.
It's about empowering their customers to feel confident tackling those more challenging projects.
I like that it's about going beyond simply selling products and becoming a true resource for homeowners.
A partner in home improvement.
And we can't forget about the growing focus on sustainability.
Oh, yeah. That's huge these days.
Consumers are becoming more and more aware
of
the environmental impact of their choices.
Right.
And they're demanding more sustainable products and practices from the companies they do business with.
They want to know where things are coming from.
Right. So Home Depot needs to up their sustainability game.
They do.
Okay. How can they do that?
They need to offer more eco-friendly products.
Okay.
Reduce waste and promote energy efficiency in their stores.
Okay.
And in their overall operations.
It's about aligning their business with the values of their customers.
Exactly.
And demonstrating that they care about the planet.
And walking the walk.
Okay. So we've got potential economic downturns.
Yeah.
Rise in interest rates. Increased competition.
Right.
Change in consumer tastes.
Yeah.
Vulnerable supply chains. Complex projects.
Yeah.
Sustainability concerns.
That's a lot.
Did I miss anything?
Well, there's always the possibility of increased regulation.
Oh, right.
Governments are constantly imposing new rules and regulations on businesses.
Sure.
And the home improvement industry is no exception.
Right.
So Home Depot needs to stay on top of those regulations.
Okay.
And make sure they're in compliance.
It's about being a responsible corporate citizen.
It is.
Okay. I think we've covered just about every possible threat.
We've gone deep.
To Home Depot's success, it sounds like they've got a lot on their plate.
They do. But let's not forget about all the strengths we discussed.
We did talk about those.
They're a well-managed company with a strong brand, a loyal customer base, And a proven track record of adapting to change.
That's true. So it's a dynamic situation.
It is.
There are definitely challenges ahead.
Yeah.
But there are also opportunities for growth and innovation.
Absolutely.
It's going to be fascinating to watch how they navigate this evolving landscape.
I can't wait to see what they do.
And continue to evolve their business in the years to come.
It'll be interesting.
All right, I think we've done a pretty thorough job.
We have.
Of exploring the good, the bad, and the potentially ugly.
We left no stone unturned.
We've examined Home Depot's business model,
right,
their competitive landscape, and the broader economic and social trends that could impact their future.
We went deep.
It's been a wild ride.
It has, but now it's time to tackle the big question.
Here we go.
That brought us here in the first place.
The moment of truth.
Is Home Depot stock a buy?
That's what we're all here for.
I know everyone wants to know.
But before we reveal our verdict and wrap up this deep dive, let's take a quick break.
Sounds good.
To let all this information sink in.
Take a breather.
We'll be right back with the grand finale.
Can't wait.
All right, we're back.
Back for the final verdict.
For the grand finale of our Home Depot deep dive.
The moment everyone's been waiting for.
I know. So we've covered a lot of ground, but now it's time to answer that million-dollar question.
Let's do it.
Should you buy Home Depot stock?
The big question.
But before we get to our final verdict, I think it's important to just take a step back and recap.
Okay.
The key takeaways from our investigation.
All right, do it.
Okay, so takeaway number 1. The housing market is huge for Home Depot.
They're all about housing.
If those predictions about a rebound come true, Home Depot is going to be riding that wave all the way to the bank.
Making money.
And a lot depends on those interest rates continuing to fall.
Right.
Lower rates mean more home buyers.
Yeah.
More of those juicy home improvement projects.
The projects that keep Home Depot's cash registers ringing.
Exactly. Okay, takeaway number 2.
Number 2.
Home Depot isn't just waiting around for things to happen.
No, they're not.
They're making bold moves like that SRS Distribution acquisition.
That was a big one.
They're expanding their reach, especially in that lucrative pro market.
Smart move.
And don't forget the political angle.
Oh, yeah, the politics.
Both presidential candidates are talking about boosting new home construction.
That's right.
Which would be a huge win for SRS Distribution.
Yeah.
And for Home Depot.
It's all connected.
It's amazing how all these forces kind of intertwine.
The economy, politics, the housing market.
It's all connected.
It's fascinating.
Okay, takeaway number 3.
Number 3.
Home Depot has some serious competitive advantages.
They do.
They've practically got a duopoly with Lowe's.
Right.
Their online presence is strong.
Yep.
And even Amazon hasn't been able to crack the home improvement market.
They've tried.
They've tried, but they haven't succeeded.
Not yet.
Plus that 15% operating margin.
Oh, yeah.
It's nothing to sneeze at.
It's not.
They're running a tight ship and generating solid profits.
They know what they're doing.
But as we've discussed, the retail world is always changing.
Never a dull moment.
So Home Depot can't just sit back and relax.
They got to stay on top of their game.
They do. So for you, our savvy listener,
yes,
what should you be keeping an eye on?
Good question.
What are the signs that this bullish scenario for Home Depot is actually playing out?
Well, here's what I'd say. Keep a close eye on those mortgage rates.
Mortgage rates, okay.
If they continue to decline as expected, that's a good sign for the housing market.
Right.
And by extension for Home Depot.
Makes sense.
What else? Watch for news about new home construction starts.
Okay. New home construction.
If those numbers start climbing, that's another positive indicator.
Okay.
For Home Depot and their strategy of focusing on the pro market.
So basically, we're looking for evidence that the housing market is heating up.
Exactly.
Heated up. And on the company side, pay attention to Home Depot's earnings reports.
Earnings reports.
And investor calls.
Investor calls, those are important.
Are they exceeding analyst expectations?
Yeah. Are they beating the estimate?
Are their pro-market sales growing?
Those are all positive signals.
All right, so even though this Motley Fool article paints a pretty rosy picture,
it does.
It's important to remember that no investment is without risk.
Always got to remember that.
There are a lot of things that could go wrong. We talked about the possibility of an economic downturn, inflation forcing the Fed to raise interest rates, new competitors emerging.
Always a possibility.
There are no guarantees in the stock market.
The market's unpredictable.
So what's the final verdict?
Drum roll, please.
Should you rush out and buy a Home Depot stock right this second?
Well, we've given you the information.
We have.
The insights, the potential upsides and downsides.
All the tools.
But ultimately, the decision is yours.
It's up to you.
Do your own research, weigh the risks and rewards, and decide if Home Depot aligns with your investment goals and your risk tolerance.
Very well said. And remember, investing isn't just about making money.
That's right.
It's about understanding the forces that shape the world around us.
It's about learning and exploring. Engaging with the companies and industries that drive our economy.
Exactly. And that's what makes these deep dives so fascinating.
I love it.
We learn about a company, an industry, and the world all at once.
It's a big interconnected web.
So here's a final thought-provoking question for you to ponder.
Okay, man.
As you continue your investing journey,
all right,
how will the rise of artificial intelligence impact the home improvement industry?
That's a good one.
Will AI-powered tools and robots make DIY projects easier? Will they change the role of contractors and tradespeople?
It's definitely something to think about.
It is. It's a brave new world out there.
It is.
All right, folks, that's a wrap on our Home Depot Deep Dive.
That's it.
We hope you found it informative,
and insightful,
engaging, and maybe even a little bit entertaining.
It's been a pleasure.
Until next time, happy investing.
Happy investing.